The Earth is contaminated by a toxic gas, which causes anyone who inhales it to die instantly. Today, in Movie Review. Just a breath away. It all begins with Matthew, who is on a flight returning to Paris. When he arrives in the city, he calls his daughter, Sarah, to find out how she is doing, and to let her know that he will soon be arriving. When he arrives at his apartment, he picks up a walkie-talkie, through which he communicates with his daughter. He then goes to the building across the street and, at the door, meets an old man whom he helps with his oxygen tank. Moments later, he goes to his wife's house, Anna, where his daughter is. At that moment we realize that Sarah has a disease, which does not allow her to breathe natural air. This is why she is isolated in a capsule. The girl has her room in there, and communicates with her friends by video call, who seem to have the same disease. Later, her father goes to take a bath, but quickly an earthquake shakes the whole city. Matthew runs out into the street and sees a man running in desperation. He runs to where sirens are sounding to see what is happening and can see a kind of very dense gas emerging from the ground. Moments later, an avalanche of gas rushes towards him. Matthew flees the fog by running and goes to his wife's apartment to tell them they have to leave. The power is out, so they leave the girl's capsule plugged into the battery and head for the apartment upstairs, where an elderly couple lives. Then, they look out of the balcony and see that the whole city is submerged in that strange toxic gas. They can't go downstairs because if they breathe the gas, they would die quickly. After a while, they realize that the battery connected to the girl's capsule is running out. One of them has to go down to the apartment to change it, but for that they would have to hold their breath for a long time, so they have to look for an alternative. At that moment, Matthew remembers that the man he had helped had an oxygen tank. He goes down a pipe to the apartment and upon entering, discovers that the old man is dead on the floor. He then grabs the tank and puts on his mask. Matthew makes his way to the apartment where his daughter is, but as he opens a door, a small puppy runs out, while his mother had died. Moments later, he reaches his daughter's room and manages to change the battery. Before returning to his wife, he decides to go out into the streets to understand what was going on. He comes across a pile of bodies that did not make it to evacuate in time, and a group of military men, who were giving oxygen tanks to help the few remaining in the buildings to escape. Matthew asks him about what was going on, but the military man doesn't know. He thinks it was all caused by the earthquake. The soldier tells him to join the group and evacuate the city, but Matthew is not going to leave his family alone. Before leaving, he asks the soldier to give him an oxygen tank. Upon entering the building, he realizes that the gas is rising, and that if they don't get out of there the entire apartment will be filled with the toxic gas. They decide to evacuate to Sarah's friend's house, since she lives on a mountain where the fog could not reach. In addition, she also has a capsule where the girl could enter. Before leaving, they must get a special suit to protect Sarah so they can go outside. The two decide to go to the lab in search of the suit, but suddenly, a wild dog sees them and starts chasing them. Apparently, the gas does not affect all animals equally. The dog almost manages to catch up with them, but its chain gets stuck, so they manage to escape. In the laboratory, they manage to find the suit they were looking for, so they decide to return, but as they approach a door, something suddenly explodes. The strong explosion causes Matthew's breathing hose to break, so they decide to climb to the highest part of the laboratory, where Matthew heals his wound. When they get ready to return to the apartment, they realize that the only oxygen tank they have left is almost empty, making it impossible for both of them to return. They kiss and Anna runs back to the building. As she is about to enter, the tank is completely empty, so she takes it off and climbs up to the old people's apartment holding her breath. Anna desperately opens the box where the suit was, but discovers that it is completely destroyed by the big explosion. At the same time, we can see Matthew trying to get back to his family by jumping from roof to roof. Suddenly, he sees a trail of blood leading to the lifeless body of a military man. Then, he enters the building and finds a full oxygen tank. Soon after, a policeman appears and tells him to give him the tank. Matthew puts on his mask and tackles the policeman, both of them falling into the fog. He holds him as best he can, until the cop is killed by the gas. In the apartment, Anna sees that her daughter's battery has only 2% left, so she decides to take courage and go change it. She runs down to the apartment while holding her breath and manages to change the battery, although she is about to suffocate. At that moment, we see the boy arrive at the building. He runs up the stairs, but sadly finds his wife dead. You can see that the gas is getting higher and higher, and it is a matter of time before the apartment is completely uninhabitable. For this reason, Matthew tells the grandparents that he will go in search of more oxygen tanks, but the gentleman tells him not to do so, as he has already lived many happy years and is ready to accept his fate. Then, the boy leaves in search of a new suit for his daughter, and meanwhile, the old people can be seen lying in bed waiting for his death. Matthew manages to find a suit in an overturned van and drives a motorcycle that was lying on the street to hurry back to his daughter. But at that moment, a child gets in his way, so he collides with a car and ends up fainting. When he wakes up, he sees the silhouette of some children again and quickly realizes that one of them was his daughter. It turns out that the gas does not affect people with the disease. They return to the house, and we see the father inside the capsule. Now it is his daughter who takes care of him. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And thank you for watching.